This will be a debunk proving that America is the #1 superpower. The USA, for a fact, reigns supreme in majority of ways, from being the largest economy and #1 in GDP, the #1 in military advancement / dominance / expenditure, and the highest in tech, sciences, health, and researches, to being the highest household disposable incomes, freedoms, rights, abilities, stability, chances, prosperity, wealth, health, and safety, and more. The U.S. is a top exporter of weapons, energy, trade, and more. We lead social networking, computing, innovation, breakthroughs, space science, space travel, entertainment, music, and so much more. Things like being top in foreign direct investment, leading markets, clean tech, and so much more. From several small colonies to the greatest nation in the history of the world, this is proof as to why the USA is factually #1 and the #1 superpower that keeps the world in check, limits evil, terrorism, and suffering, and that helps make the world a better place. Throughout time, we have neutralized terrorism, trafficking threats, communism, and dictators of all kinds. It's not just a Trump thing. Yet he is the fierce, strong, brilliant, brave, and no BS leader that we so needed/need. Biden couldn't even lead the free world in check. I already did a piece on Trump being a brilliant/great leader and president. That's linked, and you can check it out on my channel as well. I say common sense facts, all I ever really deal in/with. We are the main superpower, the main wallet, the main big deal. We keep the world in check. We try to ensure that evil and things that cause suffering or could cause permanent worldwide injustices and suffering, the things like communism, cartels, traffickers, terrorists, dictators, and more, do not fester, such as seen in our Red Scare agendas and our past attempts to fend off and defeat communism. When we are weak, the world is weak. Therefore, people take what they want and stepped all over us under Biden-Harris. Them and the Dems factually made us weak, mocked, and a laughingstock. Majority of foreigners idolize President Trump more so than any president in our U.S. history, and you can find my piece on that linked or here on my channel as well. I firmly believe that majority of the chaos and conflicts that we are seeing around the world merely occurred only due to us being weak and stepped on, such as common sense. When the #1 is weak, hands and forces move at play. The U.S. is projected to be a top or even the top global travel destination for 2026, driven by high demand for cities like New York and other popular areas, and a 92% increase in interest for locations like Big Sky, Montana. The U.S. is home to many of the top universities in the world, including Harvard and MIT. I think you know how I feel about our education systems. I think that they're bettering and improving under Trump. I think that they were completely destroyed by Dems, our edus were. I think that we don't have the best in the world, honestly, in that area. I hope that we can become the best. We may not lead in every area, but still we reign for freedoms, rights, success, and ability that parallels no other country similarly, especially for freedoms. Some leftists and anti-Americans try to paint the U.S. as some endless war machine, but that's far from the truth. Let's gut that nonsense with real history. First, that just 16 years or so of peace myth is a pure lie and fairy tale with zero basis in reality. And it is a total distortion cooked up by anti-war hacks like that viral Medium post that lumps every tiny skirmish, Indian raid, or proxy spat into full-blown war since 1776. The real truth, we've had 0 formal declarations of war since World War II, with only 5 ever in our history. 1812, Mexican-American, Spanish-American, World War I, World War II, and as for the rest, they were mostly defensive actions, police ops, or Cold War shadows. Not the all-out conflicts or invasions or warmongering the America haters like to imply. We will secure and defend America. We will stop and punish those that harm, attack, kill, and or threaten America/Americans. That's USA Code 101. We will protect and defend ours. In those 249 wars since 1945, that's extremely laughable, and they merely inflate the lists, as I have already said. Per the Congressional Research Service's own tally, just 20 major military engagements since World War II, again mostly defensive. We will secure and defend America. You started it. Basically, you started it. Like Iran and North Korea threatening, attacking, and aggressing on us and our people. We are not the ones forcing war. They are the ones forcing war on us. We are not the ones starting war. If they attack and threaten us and say death to America constantly, we will secure America and defend America. It's that simple. We are the ones who end tyrants, evil regimes, suffering, terrorism, cartels, and more. Anything that calls the U.S. warmongering is merely propaganda and is directly rooted in being anti-American. America factually has not been at war 93% of the time. Such numbers come from such anti-American propaganda and cherry-picked garbage, as I said. If we're talking formal declarations, World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf War, and Afghanistan and Iraq, that's about it. In most of these, we stepped in to help. We were at large, not the aggressor. We have liberated and freed more than we have conquered. We bring peace and freedoms with billions cheering worldwide in the name of peace, freedom, and God, like is seen with Venezuelans. We crushed the Nazis, D-Day, baby. We helped rebuild Japan after ending World War II by dropping bombs. That wasn't great, but if it wasn't for those bombs, millions more likely would have died and the war would have continued. I may do a piece on those bombings sometime soon. Trump is focused on diplomatic peace efforts and is the peace president, ending conflicts and attempting to usher control again, whereas Dems just bombed for years unchecked, being openly war-hungry on nearly every front the Dems were. Now, the next thing I'm about to say, I'm going to do a whole piece on too, probably the next thing I'm going to do, because it's short. We are, for a fact, already in World War III, for a fact. Now, the number of countries involved in World War II was 60. Currently, the UN and other sources report over 120 to up to 130 active armed conflicts worldwide, affecting over 80 to 90 nations directly or indirectly through military support, proxy funding, or peacekeeping. The Russia-Ukraine war alone pulls in about 50 countries or more, mostly via aid to Ukraine, while other countries like the Israel-Gaza conflict, Syria, Yemen, and smaller insurgencies in Africa and Asia rope in additional players through arms, alliances, or sanctions. It's not World War II centralized chaos full-blown yet, which hopefully it doesn't get to, but the web of involvement is crazy complex. We have been mere moments away from all-out nuclear war every day for over 2 years now, and these wars are only growing and more wars are starting, like as seen with China, Taiwan, India, and Pakistan, etc. More countries conflict now than in World War II, just with Russia and Ukraine war alone, which has pulled in the 4 biggest superpowers in our world. For a fact, the highest number of armed conflicts occurring now than since World War II. Look, we are for a fact number one. We are for a fact number one in military, and no one is even matching our advancements and dominance, straight from Navy reports and hard data. We are still the ones making demands and doing things like ushering trade terms. China and other countries factually rely on us. For example, China needs our soybeans, we don't need theirs. China is for a fact not doing better than us by nearly any metric. I did a piece on that. We are ushering independence, security, control, and success for us and the world. President Trump factually saved not only the USA and her people, but a lot of the world as well. We're the only country that could run NATO if Europe folded, NATO summit notes. We're printing the dollars that everyone still wants. The decline of the U.S. narrative is just cope for why no one can touch us. Our enemies cannot harm us from the outside, so they reach to harm us from within and change us from within. This is common sense. Dims are that. I mean, they've proved that. The evidence is thick, and I've put it here, and I will continue to do so. Dims are the proven enemy within / hostile force / threat to us that is harming us and destroying us from within constantly. You can view my division and treason, sedition pieces, and also war forcing pieces for that and more. We're number one across the board, military unmatched with carrier fleets nobody else dreams of, superpower influence that keeps the world orbiting us, and economic trade muscle that prints the global reserve currency. With tech giants writing tomorrow's rules, energy independence flooding the world with our oil. You want to downplay it, go ahead, but the scoreboard says different, and when push comes to shove, everyone's dialing Washington first.